The discovery of music takes us down roads we never thought we'd travel. We are entering the lives of musicians who have followed their hearts and pushed boundaries to create unique soundscapes. These musicians are doerists. They have immense passion for what they do. They inspire others to follow their dreams, and this is why their stories deserve to be heard. The powerful and reverberating vocals of Shubha Mudgal need little introduction. Her voice has that wonderful ability to wipe away landscapes and create new ones. Her individual style lends a haunting quality to her music, one that lingers long after the song has ended. Swaratma's music is as in-your-face, cheerful, and kaleidoscopic as their on-stage costumes. India provides them with a whole orchestra worth of instruments, tunes, melodies, lyrics, and stories, all of which they stir together and unfold in a breathless rush with their music. I'm Monica Dogra, a contemporary artist and one half of electro-rock act Shire and Funk, and I am on a mission to discover the passion behind these musicians, watch them collaborate, and create a song. Because some things are just worth doing. Welcome to the Doerists. The sultry skies and heavy palms of Mysore need a soundtrack that resonates with the grandeur of its royal sultanate. Today, we are unraveling the city's hold over its classical notes and stitching together a framework as rich and colorful as the stories of her past.
Traditionally, women musicians in India come from families that had a hereditary profession of making music. People from so-called respectable families very often were reluctant to let their daughters or women from their families really study music. Far from, just studying, you could never really imagine that you could take up music as a full-time career.
बरखा की रुत आई झूला झुलाए अम्बुवा की छैया में.
But my mother in particular really was deeply, deeply passionate about the arts. I think I was doing my bachelor's degree, my BA, when she said to me, hang on, I can see that you're really obsessed with music. Why don't you take a year off and decide whether this is what you want to do? I was stunned by the offer then. I'm still stunned by it because that offer was, I think it really changed my life.
बरखा की रुत आई झूला झुलाए.
I didn't take a year. I took about a month to decide that this is what I wanted to do. And after that, I've studied music all along. I continue to study music now. I'm one of many, many classical musicians in India who are not from hereditary or Khandani families and who are yet able to make music their life's occupation.
बरखा की रुत आई झूला झुलाए चहूं ओर छाई कारी बदल दरिया नन्ही नन्ही बूंदिया चमके बिजुरिया आओ सजनी सैया को बुलाए सावन मनाए.
Then I learned from all these wonderful musicians who had already decided that they were drawn more to eclecticism. They had let many influences come into their work. My guru, Pandit Ram Ashray Jha, used to be very fond of saying that हमने 72 guru se सीखा है. I learned from 72 people. Now that wasn't literal, but what he was trying to convey was that he was finding interesting content and material in many places, and he didn't care whether it was from this Gharana or that Gharana. He wanted to know more about it. So when you're trained by a person like that, you inherit that curiosity. And I think that if today people call me either versatile or a pariah, I think the credit or the discredit really goes to the upbringing that I've had, both at home and musically. I occasionally step out of my world of classical and traditional music because I truly enjoy and I have great curiosity about all kinds of music. I did an album called Ab Ke Sawan, which sort of became a fairly big hit in the world of indie pop. Unusual to see a middle-aged, overweight woman singing all of this, and singing and enjoying it and being unabashed about it also. So I quite enjoyed myself, I have to say. I refuse to be apologetic about it. And I'm really quite lucky because I get these invitations to collaborate with some wonderful musicians, and that has really been very fortunate.
Hey! Hi! Good to see you guys. Good to be back here. Welcome. Hi.
Welcoming Shubhaji to Mysore are the city's troubadours, Bangalore-based folk rock band Swaratma. Our fellow collaborators have been waiting for a chance to bridge the country's north-south divide with an epic jam session with Delhi-based Shubhaji.
There are so many indie musicians who are really dedicated to doing something with Indian music. It's a pity that we never meet. There's this kind of, we're working in isolation in regions and we never really meet. So my husband, Anish Pradhan, who's a tabla player and a composer, Anish and I, we decided that we would try and set up this small platform. So from 2009, we've been doing Baja Gaja, which is a 3-day music festival. And we try and see what we can share with musicians and to see if we can really borrow from each other's strengths and learn from each other's weaknesses. And I was first introduced to Swaratma, the very first Baja Gaja. Here was this young band, all colorfully dressed in a kachi ghodi. Then my mother, who was present at the festival, said, this is a lovely band. I'd like to see if they could perhaps perform in Nokuchia Tal, which is in Uttarakhand, where my mother lived. And Swaratma actually performed in Nokuchia Tal. Again, it was, another time when we got to know each other. They stayed at my mother's home. So it's been a fairly long association now. We said maybe we could do something else together. So that's how we landed up on this show.
You've seen that Beatles one show. The stage rotates, so the drums are like this. And then they start. So the other half of the crowd is suddenly like,
Don't worry, when I'm there, nothing will change. It will be firmly anchored.
I think there's a spontaneity. I think there's a love for the music. And also that they're not afraid of bringing in Indian elements. So they're not really worried about singing in Kannada, for example. I think that's important. Being yourself is very important for me. And I think that's nice about the band. They don't pretend to be something else. And of course, the sheer love and the fun of making music, that is reflected in the work that they do, and I think that's very infectious.
I come from a typical Mysore Iyengar Brahmin family where music is there whether you like it or not. So there were days when I have learned music crying. I'm like, "Sari da barella."
After my high school, my parents pressurized me to get into engineering, and I studied for 2 years my pre-university. Thankfully, I flunked, and I protested. And then I said, "See, if I continue doing this, I'll keep getting the same results. So please allow me to, get into wherever I actually want to."
एक जैसी धड़कनों की एक जैसी थाप है एक जैसे दो आँखों के एक जैसे ख्वाब है क्यों भला सोच तो ये वास्ता
I had done my juniors in tabla. As I always say that I had continued playing on tabla. So I used to play on tables and chairs. One fine day in my third year, I found Vasu playing guitar. Then I just sat in front of them and started tapping on the table.
and we said instead of tapping on the table why don't you play on some instrument.
That day, I went to a music shop in Mysore and I picked up my first kanjira and bongo.
And he said, you know what, I'll jam with you guys. One of those days is when Abhinanth Kumar, he's the one who founded the band. I don't know where he was lying down the previous night drunk, and next morning he comes up without bathing and he says, band should be called Swaratma. Swar means musical note, Atma is soul. So it is the note of the soul or the soul of the note.
In 2008, I had joined Swaratma. When I joined, we had a different lineup altogether. Then one fine day, our bassist decided to quit the band and violinist after a month time, then guitarist also after 2 months. I told him, give me some time, like give me 30 days, some time. I started calling my old friends.
For 12, 13 years, I was into the corporate world and I used to play violin only at the corporate functions. So music was never, I had never taken it so seriously. Till 2007, when I got a call from a certain Entre Manuel. And this opportunity came by and my kind of life totally changed. It made a 360 degree. And, I became cool. I became a rock star.
I was in a band at engineering college. Then I joined TCS as a software engineer. I had a band. Then I started doing my MBA at XLRI Jamshedpur. I had a band there. In hindsight, I realized that I always wanted to play music with others. I came back to Bangalore with a posting and I gave Monterey a call. So Monterey was like, I have a band. It's called Swaratma.
And when I went and met the band, at first glance, I hated the band. I found Vasu the most weird thing ever in the planet. The first time I saw him, I was like, what on earth is he? And I was like, I'm not gonna play for this band. This guy is like really nuts. I'm not gonna play for this band at all. No ways. So it really took a while for us to sort of, understand each other and accept the fact that we are not what we thought about each other,
The struggles were like any other band, sitting on a kinetic with all amps and guitar and going like, getting on stage. They say you work backstage or you're the artist.
We'd go to any college function and ask the organizer, sir, please, sir, 2 songs, sir, 2 songs. Before the main event, sir, just 2 minutes we will sing and come off.
We have played shows in colleges in Mysore where people have thrown rockets, they have thrown eggs because they wanted all chartbusters, Kannada film songs. And right from the day one, we were sure that we won't play any covers. You allow us to play what we know, otherwise we'll go off stage.
Swaratma's music is more than sum of its parts. Collective influence of all our musical backgrounds and the energies that we bring to the band.
I have come across all my friends, family members. They roam around in BMWs and Mercedes. Just next to them, I'll be on my bike. In their minds, they might be thinking, good for nothing, man. Just see where I am and see where he is. But the day I appear on a newspaper or a magazine or in television, that same guy will call me up and say, hey, I saw you on TV. Nice, man. And all their convictions about themselves and everything, I can see that it just collapses.
Now, a lot of my B school classmates, when they meet me at gigs, you're doing what you love, you're awesome, and everything. I think that's my blessing. The fact that I know that I want to do this. Being with Swaratma became part of the reason why I wake up every day. It's so clear that, yes, being with this band is the best career decision that I ever made.
Hindustani classical meets Hindi pop meets folk meets fusion. In any other world, that could mean just plain noise. With these artists, these are the noises that will string together our song today.
I had an idea to explore. It's like just sounds.
Vasu just told us on the way that he wants to try something. He played 3 different kinds of soundscapes. There was one that reminded me of being in a bus station.
I mean, normally what happens with musicians is that you find a melody or a rhythm which suddenly spark off something. But this doesn't have musical sound as such. I mean, it was like giving us catalyst.
There was one that reminded me of being in a cheap bar. And there was a third which reminded me of sitting by a mountain stream.
Idea was to have what Mysore is. I just wanted everyone to enter that space, then see what we can create.
The experience of the soundscapes brought in a slightly darker mood to the way things were going.
What I would like to see is first, what are the parts that we have?
Yeah, I feel
before even going to who will start, who will come, how many parts, how many times, what are the parts?
So you have to teach me that.
For me personally, jamming itself is very exciting. Every time you jam, you just come up with something that you have not tried before.
I come from a very sort of a highly specialized rag, tal, composition holds great importance. Experiments like this, trials to create something are always welcome.
That was on this only?
I want to ask one thing about, it sounds very nice, this Hayya Re Hayya, but it's a very cliched thing that then it gets into this Maji kind of mode,
Correct.
All too often collaborations are too polite and please you first and me first and that kind of thing, Collaboration happens when you can also be rude with each other and say, no, I don't like this,
As I said, we have 2 clear families of ideas. One is which is on a major scale. The other family of parts is what we jam in the middle and coming back and forth after the soundscape.
That was beautiful. My God. And it all just happened out of sounds you've collected in Mysore.
This was for me a handshake with Swaratma, and we will get to know each other better musically. Otherwise, I live a very, I sing a very lonely life. So, it's good to be in a team and see how everything comes together.
Sometimes there's this intrinsic connection where all of a sudden everything just happens together. There are so many of those moments.
What excites me the most about it is that it all happened here, under these lights, under these stars, under the sky of Mysore. I'm happy that it happened in my lifetime.
Hi. Hi.
We're supposed to do this.
Welcome.
Welcome to
Thank you.
our
This is
heaven.
amazing. This is magic.
Yes, Swaratma was born.
Kava is CAVA. It stands for Chamarajendra Academy of Visual Arts. It's a complete fine art institute. Painting, sculpture, graphics, applied arts, photography and photojournalism. So the band was formed when he was in his 4th year and I was in my
So he's your senior?
3rd year. Yes.
Huh?
Academically.
Did he rag you?
Yes, he did.
This is an old building, right?
Yes.
So how
It's
old?
a heritage building. It's around 150 years old.
Wow.
This is what the Maharajas had built for, encouraging art and artists. During my school days, one of my brother's friends was an artist from Kava. I was blown away by his personality. That is where I felt this is what I want to be. I want to be an artist. This used to be my classroom.
And where did you sit?
I was here.
Backbencher or what?
No. Next to the window. After 10th, I said I'm getting into Kava. No way you're doing that. My mother's dream was that I should become a doctor. She said, you have to at least be a dentist. I didn't tell my mother that I have gotten through the entrance test. A day before the final day of fee payment, I told her. We had a huge discussion the whole night. And then next morning she says, okay, the fee is on the table. Go and get it. I was so happy.
That's Mr. Ullas. He's the HOD of painting department. I always question him. When you play so much with ink, black ink, why can't you put some on your hair also? They are my faithful friends. They are more than faculty members for us. It's like
Going to their college, to Kava, was special because one can see the great popularity that Vasu and Pavan enjoy at the college. I come from a university town too, in Allahabad. I have several associations of that kind, but it's good for me to sort of relive those associations myself.
Hi, this is my department.
Photography department.
Kitna ganda hai.
That's the dark room, which people hardly use nowadays.
Now, because of digital. Yeah.
Now
But
the kids...
you learnt all that?
Yeah.
My dad used to do that.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I used to be his lab assistant.
Wow. In my 2nd year, so I used to just get into the class, sit for half an hour and get out, start playing music. I never knew that I would also get something along with fine art like photography and painting, that I could explore music as well. So Kava gave it all.
For me, this is a very spiritual space. This is where the artist in me was born.
We are on the banks of the river Kaveri, the muse behind one of Swaratma's biggest hits, Pyasi. Their debut song from their first album, released in 2010. It was also the first time Swaratma collaborated with Shobhaji. Although Shobhaji's voice features on the track, she had recorded her vocals in Delhi and sent it to the band in Bangalore to add into the composition. They have never really sung the song together, until now.
I was just thinking when the train was going, the song was born, the idea was born in a train like that. There's an old lady in front of me in the same compartment chatting with a young man about the river Kaveri. And the young man was with the opinion that the water should stay with us. This is our water, we need it for our agriculture. The old lady was like, everyone should have it. And the fight went on for quite a long time. And while she was getting down, she said, whatever it is, have you ever thought of what the river thinks?
With Pyasi, what had happened was that the song already existed. Jishnu called me and said, we've done this song called Pyasi, and we were wondering if you could sing a little on it. And I said, why do you want me to sort of, interfere with what you've already done and put an alap or something over it? And he said, no, I think we are hearing an alap. And I heard the song and then just recorded over it.
After Shubhaji sang that calm and serene voice, as same as what you hear now. That no matter what is happening around you, this sound will remain intact.
I think it's full circle for us, I think. We sing the song that is one of the tracks that we are best known for. We collaborate on this song with one of India's leading artists. And all of that has happened without us ever being in the same space. To finally sing that song with the artist that helped us get it out there and helped us strike that chord with so many people. To have Shubhaji with us by the Kaveri and us singing the song. Full circle.
I'm going to dive into the water now. That's it.
We'll catch him in the hotel. Come out of the tub. Water tub. We've got a few parts in the jam that we had. We've tried to see where we can draw the outlines from all the doodles and mishmash and all the sketches that we have.
The initial ideas we had were totally different, to be honest, and the kind of shape it's taking now is it's more full. We're trying to do away with drums and just bring a lot of big percussion sound in it. So it's more like a warfield percussion sort of a thing. We are trying to retain the rawness that we had in the jam sessions.
Band with all its energy sort of comes in and in little. I mean, it's not sounding fragmented anymore, which is good.
Usually we take long time to, compose or songwriting sessions. This is, for us, is a little new. So we take a little time, Why?
Vasu had Mysore and this paradise sort of a thing in his mind. So Vasu and Pawan wrote something based on that.
Fading photographs, snatches of sound, fragile memories, feelings unbound.
The idea is not really to say anything in those words, just
Birds flying in a V, homeward bound.
Vasu is singing in Kannada and Shubhaji is singing in Hindi, and myself and Vasu are trying a little bit of English in between. And so it's like a mixture of 3 different languages. So that's the first time we're ever doing that.
This is like a narrator's point of view. ದೂರದ ಊರಿನ ಕಥೆಯ ಕೇಳಿದೆ ನನ್ನ ಹೃದಯ ಈ ನದಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಗಾಳಿಯಲ್ಲಿ means far away place ka story has been heard by my heart in this river and air.
We're near the Kaveri, and that has played a major role in their music as well as my interaction with them.
Shubhaji has written something.
I did something which I don't normally do, which is to write a few words and match it with the metaphor of crossing the river.
It is amazing that this kind of space can make us create something like that?
I thought, I mean, I'm here with all these Kannada-speaking musicians, and why shouldn't I learn a line in Kannada? I thought, I'm not going to tell anybody. When I go onto the mic, I'm just going to try it.
क्या बात है क्या नाम आनी ना चिंदे गुरानी ना
It was too funny to see his jaw drop till his ankles.
बड़ा मागुरानी ना बा मागुरानी ना क्या नाम आनी
I was like, what did you just do?
नमगे चमक कोट पुटेला गुरानी ना
Meeting people like Swaratma who are ready to, but are not very self-conscious about, you know, a lot of things. I think it's fun.
To tell you the truth, I think she has been one of the most humble musicians that we have seen. You know, it's not very easy to find musicians who are from the classical background to have such an open attitude.
I think very often people from traditional music get to, you know, like that. This is how we perform. This is how I'll keep my tanpura, and that's it. I feel very self-conscious, you know. If you were to ask me that, okay, you know, open your hair and start tossing it around, I'll say, no, you know. I mean, no, classical musicians don't do that, you know. But why not? Why not? If it's a gesture of freeing yourself, why not?
Within Swaratma's energized, folk-tinged, message-loaded creations, Shubhaji's melodic versatility cuts through to create a different world. I can't wait for what tomorrow brings.
We are working through the night now, and we have a lot of company. We have insects, we have frogs around, and these sleepy people around. Everyone with red eyes, looking like zombies, and by morning, I'll be looking like one again. So basically, by morning, we'll have the track complete, and I'm really looking forward to hear how the whole thing sounds, and we move on to the next day.
Our country's diversity is what works for us. The unbelievable contrasts turning a life a little less ordinary. Whether it's learning from 72 gurus or growing up in a famous gharana, giving up dentistry for photography and sculpture, or making Indian pop a medium of social change. This is the country where anything can happen. In any tune.
ದೂರದ ಊರಿನ ಕಥೆಯ ಕೇಳಿದೆ ನನ್ನ ಹೃದಯ ದೂರದ ಕಥೆಯ ಕೇಳಿದೆ ನನ್ನ ಹೃದಯ ಈ ನದಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಗಾಳಿಯಲ್ಲಿ
रे गहरी नदियाँ रे गहरी नदियाँ नैया झझरी दूर किनारा नैया झझरी दूर किनारा उस पार साजन हमारा रे गहरी नदियाँ
ದೂರದ ಊರಿನ ಕಥೆಯ ಕೇಳಿದ ನನ್ನ ಹೃದಯ ದೂರದ ಊರಿನ ಕಥೆಯ ಕೇಳಿದ ನನ್ನ ಹೃದಯ ಈ ನದಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಗಾಳಿಯಲ್ಲಿ
ಕನಸೊಳಗಿನ ಕನಸಲಿನ ಕಂಡೆ ಆ ಊರನ್ನು ಇಂದು ಕನಸೊಳಗಿನ ಕನಸಲಿನ ಕಂಡೆ ಆ ಊರನ್ನು ಇಂದು ಕನಸೊಳಗಿನ ಕನಸಲಿನ ಕಂಡೆ ಆ ಊರನ್ನು ಇಂದು ಕನಸೊಳಗಿನ ಕನಸಲಿನ ಕಂಡೆ ಆ ಊರನ್ನು ಇಂದು
Shabash, beta. That's the feeling. That's the feeling.
Emotional. You need more?
This is where we started the band. This is my temple. So coming and playing here means very special to me.
So I think the reality of it all, the fact that this is where they studied, this is where a lot of artists have ideas in their heads, buzzing in their heads. And I think that's what is being utilized rather than have these really sort of synthetic kind of prettiness.
We always want to perform with Sibam, so today we achieved that one and we blast.
We have found a new creature here in Mysore. It's a rare creature. Let me show you. Come. Wow. Are you thinking of the spider? Now I'm talking of this creature. Spider-Man! Spider-Man! Check this out. Wow, great. Keep watching. We'll be right back after the break.
The thing about Goa and the pace of Goa, it's really serene, quiet, and beautifully slow.
I heard war is not the answer. Can you please repeat the question?
1,000 views on YouTube in a month, and to me that was the biggest thing in the world.
You can sit in a bedroom with a small keyboard and a computer and make an entire track. 2 people can make a band. Electronic music allows you that.
I was placed with people I had never heard of, and I knew after the first encounter that there was a vibe.
My really dear friends, the Medieval Pundits, along with Humble the Poet. I can't wait.
People from different parts of the world, if they have to come together, they don't require any ID. So that was the thought process behind naming the track, No ID.